like nowadays there's no shortage of issues in the culture. There's no shortage of things to be concerned about, troubled by, disturbed by. And a lot of times it can make you feel powerless to do anything, to affect change. Um, I once heard a preacher say that if you're not depressed, it's because you're not paying attention, which is to say that, if you look around hard enough, you're going to find something to be down about and to be depressed about. And because, like I said, there's no shortage of issues in our culture, in our society. Things from, environmental challenges we have with just waste, the amount of waste as Americans, the amount of waste as the human race. We can talk about um, issues with the criminal justice system and mass incarceration of black men and women. We can talk about the unfair treatment of those who are incarcerated and how they come out and they're marginalized and aren't able to vote and aren't able to get a college education or to rent an apartment. We could talk about the educational challenges that our kids face, especially in lower income areas where schools just don't have the resources and don't have the draw for teachers. And so classrooms are overflowing and kids are not learning up to standards as their more affluent counterparts in other parts of the city, other parts of the country. And so, the list goes on and on of all the things that we could be concerned about. And we want to see change. We want to see progress, especially in the black community who always seems to be hit the hardest by these kinds of issues. You know, it seems like whatever statistic you can find, you'll see that it affects the black community that much more. Like, for instance, I heard a statistic that says 70% of African American children will be born into a single parent home. So right from Jump Street, they start with just one parent in the home. And if that's you, if you're a single parent, there's no knock to you. You are holding it down. You're doing the best you can with what you have. And I pray that you have family to help you along the way. But, there's something to be said about having both mother and father contributing to the growth of that child. And so, as I say, there's no shortage of issues to be concerned about. But when I think about how I can make a change, because I see it. I'm not immune to the things that we see and we hear in the news and we see in our communities, what our folks are going through. I think about, like, what is one of the easiest things that I can do to make a difference in my community. And as I prayed about that, the Lord showed me that one of the best things we could do is to mentor a child. And so if you don't know anything about mentoring, it's where a responsible adult takes interest in a child to help them develop confidence, to believe in themselves, to believe in the possibilities for their future, to have confidence to set goals, and then to give them tools to help accomplish those goals. It's giving a child a sense of self and worth and a sense of where they fit in a society. Children who are mentored are less likely to get involved in drugs. Children who are mentored are less likely to get involved with underage sex, which leads to teenage pregnancy, and as we know, leads to sexually transmitted diseases and HIV/AIDS and things like that. Mentoring also has helped children, like I said, to gain confidence, and they're more likely to take that step and go to college. In case were wondering, an education is still a powerful tool for a young black child in America. I kind of got fed the Kool-Aid on thinking that college wasn't a good thing for everybody. I myself, my personal story is that college wasn't a good experience for me because I went in not knowing what I wanted to do with my life. But when you point a child in the right direction, they can understand the value and worth of college early on. And that's something, a part of my testimony, and maybe I'll share in a different video, is that, when a child has a chance to engage their thought on these ideas of what do I want to be when I grow up? How can I contribute to my society? And how can I best leverage my skills and my my strengths to earn a good living, and then somehow give back to my community. These kind of ideas don't just they're not ingrained in us. We need quality adults to help us understand what it is that we ought to get out of our education. And so, yes, a college education is still a valuable tool. And so to see young kids go to college, maybe become doctors, maybe become medical professionals, lawyers, engineers, scientists of some kind, that would be a tremendous boost. We always say this. I mean, at least the people I talk to, we don't all want our kids to run off and become athletes and rappers and stuff. And while there's nothing wrong with that, and if you have a true skill for that, I wholeheartedly encourage you to pursue it. But there's something to be said about a solid education in a career that's lucrative, in a career that's needed in society. While the arts are beautiful and I support the arts, I consider myself an artist in many regards. But we need some skilled professionals in our communities. So, a little bit of a rant there, but one thing that I realize is mentoring a child is something we all can do. If we really think about the impact it can have on the next generation, think about where we would be if we had a mentor walking with us through our youth to show us things that we maybe never considered, to open our eyes to the possibilities that we never knew we had, or maybe to expose us to places and things that we never knew existed. It's a tremendous gift to give a child to be able to mentor them. And so I'm definitely an advocate for this initiative, specifically in the city of Newport News. And I will be talking more about that in more videos. I don't want this one to go too long. If you're looking for a way to make a difference, if you're looking for a way to impact our communities in a positive way, maybe the first step for you could be to mentor a child. Maybe you yourself saw this same kind of bleak outlook that the statistics painted for you. Maybe you were the product of a single parent home. Maybe you were the first person in your family to go to college, or the first person to leave the hood, so to speak. What lessons could you impart to a child that you wish somebody had told you? So, I want to hear your thoughts on this concept of mentoring down in the comments below. And I thank you for listening. And if you're interested in mentoring in the city of Newport News, please visit my website. It's RhonnieSmith.com. That's RHONNIE Smith.com. And you'll find a link for Firm Foundation Mentoring. Thanks, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.